What's up, guys? It is currently day 2 of the 2021 Bassmaster Classic. We are here at the expo. We're just gonna show you around, show you all the new products, what's good.
One of the cool things about the dredgers is they've got a little metal disc in the lip. It's kind of hard to see. I can show you guys afterwards. You can go look at the bait, but it's got this little metal disc in the lip. So what that does is it changes the pitch of the bait. Rather than slowly diving down to its depth, it's going to go almost straight down to its diving depth. It's going to get that bait at the strike zone a lot quicker, and that's a really big deal. It's just down in their face a lot longer. A long cast is really critical. The longer you cast, the deeper that bait's going to go. So I'll typically use a pretty long rod. I like a 7-11 Admiral Garcia winch rod, composite cranking rod. I throw it on 10-pound line. You know, even the 25.5, it's a relatively large bait, but I really like to keep consistently throwing on 10-pound casts just to get its max diving depth. If you think about it, the thinner the line, the less resistance it has as it's diving down through the water. So the thinner the line, it's going to prevent your bait from diving super deep. A lot of times I'll use 10-pound test to crank. There's occasional circumstances where you actually want to keep your bait above a certain depth, maybe above some grass or something like that. In that circumstance, I'll go to something a little heavier. Once in a while, I'll use like 15 or something like that. And then also,
Hey, what's up, everybody? Keith Combs. We're at the Bassmaster Classic, and I'm over to the Strike King booth. And one of my favorite baits to throw is this baby right here, Strike King 6XD. We got something new. We got the 6XD in a hard knock. You know, the cool thing about that is it makes a little bit different sound, and sometimes that can make all the difference in the world. Sometimes when you're crankbait fishing, you're just trying to get those fish fired up, so getting one to bite is as good as catching 5. Once you get one, you catch the whole school. So a little bit different sound sometimes pays off, and that's what the hard knock's going to do for you.
So, Greg, thanks for hanging out with us, man. You know, here at the show, at the 2021 Bassmaster Classic, we introduced a new rod series with Lou's and signature series, and somehow they picked your ugly mug to choose one of them. But tell us a little bit about your rod, the features, why you chose what you did. Tell us what models that you love and you brought to the table.
You know, really, like all the signature line, you know, they picked our whole team, and whatever was their specialties. Everybody got to build a rod that, you know, that really fit their specialties. And so, for me, it was a flipping pitching stick and a frog rod, which is 3 things that I love to do. And so, the 3 rods in my series, one's a 7-11, heavy, you know, it's big tackle, big jig, heavy weights, punching, brush, you know, that type of deal. It's not a casting rod. It's it's definitely a pitching and a flipping stick. I will big swim bait on it too. Work for that. But so the 7.6 is more of it's a pitching rod, but I refer to it as a plinking rod. It's my everyday, you know, fluorocarbon, more isolated targets type deal. It'll be more of an everyday rod that you always have on your deck. And then of course the frog rod, I swim a jig on it, throw a frog on it. And it's perfect. And all these rods were built exactly like I wanted them. We worked on it for the last couple of years. I actually have had this rod that I have in my hand since last fall, and we've been working on it, and they're right now. And so I know they're holding on plenty because they finally sent me enough to fish with. So, but they are great rods. But all the rods in this whole Signature Series line, you know, from Van Dam's Crankbait rod to Mark Rose Carolina rig rods, you know, these are guys that do these techniques all the time, and they use their pro staff to, you know, build the best rod possible. But I'm excited about it, and we just need to go somewhere with lots of heavy cover.
That's great. And guys actually kind of joked about it, but sometimes it does take time for things to get in and get finished, but you can actually go to the lose.com new e-commerce site and get these things right now. And actually, every day we're giving away a $100 gift card that you can use on that site. If you'll text fishing to 66866, that's fishing to 66866, you can go check out the new Lose e-commerce site. But we talked a little bit about its heavy cover rod, but you'll throw a big swim bait on it. Let's cross over to Strike King real quick and talk about one of the new jig heads they're bringing out. And guys, hey, just a few minutes, we're going to do a little Q&A with Greg. So if you got a question for him, be thinking about it, and I'll let you ask it. But let's jump over to this new heavy cover, the Quadrant swim bait head with the brush guard on it. Tell a little bit about your thoughts on that, and maybe give some advice on how to incorporate this whole swim bait approach, but in heavy cover.
Well, you know, the deal is, like before, you would use a weighted hook, and the hookup ratio is not that good on it. So by using this new head in the same places where in the past you've thrown a weighted hook, you just basically are able to throw a jig head that has a much better hookup. You know, roll it through brush piles, deep standing timber. As far as that goes, going down the bank, throwing it in bushes, it's just going to make that swim bait so much more versatile. You know, that's the problem with a lot of stuff, is being able to put it to the fish hooks. So now being able to put that swim bait and get that hook up. So my whole deal is with any type of tackle, you know, it's the biggest reason that I like a jig, because the hookup ratio is so good. It's just whatever makes you the most efficient. So I get more excited about stuff like that I know I'm gonna catch everything that bites than something that's just flashier. You know what I mean? I want something that gets the job done. So our new swim bait head, you know, I'm gonna be able to throw it all the time. But I like a big rod for getting those fish out of that heavy cover. It doesn't really matter what bait you're throwing. When you're fishing around that heavy cover, you got to be able to remove that fish, you know, from the cover. So you know, that's the reason for picking the right rod for the job, and picking the right equipment. The head, the rod, everything has to go together.
Absolutely. And as we cross into a little Q&A, I'll actually lead with that.
Guys, just finished up day 2 of the Bassmaster Classic at the Expo. It was a pretty successful day. We got our buckets signed by all the pros. Hopefully we got some good footage for you. Thanks for tuning in.